The 25-hour hotspot-enabled iPad, hand-delivered iTunes gift card, Tim Cook visits China, 10 million Angry Birds space downloads, and the idiot of the day. It's Tuesday, March 27, 2012, and this is iWake. I'm Tim Chaten, and this is what's going on in the Apple world today. Good morning and welcome to another edition of iWake. Before kicking off today's episode, I first want to apologize for the audio quality of yesterday's show. Many people got a version of the show that was with, quite frankly, crazy settings that caused audio levels to make it sound like I was about to throw up or something else unpleasant. So, my apologies. I fixed the bug and I'm going a step further by adding to my workflow Levelator to my audio before exporting it out of Final Cut Pro 10. Anyways, bottom line, I'll do my best to get the audio quality better and do what I can. With that, let's get on to today's show. Leading off the show today is the amazing fact that the new iPad can serve up a hotspot for as long as 25 hours without needing to be charged. This is with the screen turned off and people actually accessing data during that time. The amount of power the screen uses, it's simply amazing and blows me away. And this shows me just how great this iPad is as a mobile hotspot. It's the best hotspot money can buy. Most hotspots are lucky to get 4 or 5 hours. Typically, they'll get 3 hours in a single charge. Your phone is not going to get nearly as many hours as this iPad. So the iPad is an awesome hotspot, albeit bigger size, so to speak. So I think it's worth it as a hotspot, and I think the pocket-sized hotspots are not as good as this full-out iPad. So anyways, let's move on to, meanwhile, studies comparing the iPad heat output to the iPads of Android. So those other tablets that claim to be the iPad killers. So this Heatgate thing that the press love to pump up is not anything at all. When comparing the heat output, Android tablets are actually worse than the iPad 3 at doing this. They're hotter to hold and all of those great things. And when I was reading this, I was picturing, why don't we have a cold gate where the iPad 2 in a cold room, because the aluminum, it actually gets cold. So, let's have a cold gate. Let's just make up crap that, makes the press a lot of hits, because you need gloves to hold your iPad because it's too cold. It's just crazy. So I'm counting the days until a new iPhone comes out, because we'll have a new gate to talk about by those idiots in the press. So, and another debacle news is an apology by the infamous Mike Daisey, who lied in a big way about Apple and their factories in China. His apology is as follows. When I said on stage that I personally experienced things I, in fact, did not, I feel to honor the contract I had established with my audiences over many years and many shows. In doing so, I not only violated their trust, I also made worse art. This is not the place for me to try and explain my good intentions. We all know where the road paved with good intentions leads. In fact, I think it might lead where I'm sitting right now. So there you go, an apology from Mike Daisey. I'm not sure if it's genuine or not, but it's an apology nevertheless. In other general Apple news is news regarding China. If you remember a week ago or so, perhaps more than that, you might remember Apple announced a winner to their 25th billion app download contest. Well, the winner lives in China and got some special treatment. According to 9to5Mac, as part of her prize, Apple flew Fu, the winner, to Apple's headquarters in Beijing for a visit to the corporate offices and then the Sanlitun retail store. Not sure if I pronounced that right, but there you go. To collect her prize at this store, a press event was held and an award ceremony. Sounds like a fun time to be the winner. I'd be okay with just the insanely awesome iTunes gift card, but that's just me. Related to that is Tim Cook, who recently visited China, and he had several photo spots there when he visited with different customers, things like that. According to Apple spokeswoman Carolyn Wu, I should say, Cook had great meetings with Chinese officials today. China is a very important place to be, and we look forward to even greater investing in this basically country, and we're looking forward to the growth here. So there you go, Apple and China and Tim Cook visiting China. Nothing surprising, but it's kind of cool to see the photo spots he did take. Moving on is a bit of iPhone news. To begin is an update to OmniFocus for iPhone. According to the release notes, OmniFocus 1.14 for iPhone adds flexible weekly repeats, and fixes a handful of reported issues. Repeating actions, this is basically spelling out how to do this. So they added flexible weekly repeats. When a project or action repeats every week, you can specify the days of the week the item should repeat on. For example, repeat on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We create due dates on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday going forward. It's pretty nifty and something that I wish reminders did. Some other bugs were squashed, including iCloud reminders. OmniFocus, for those that don't know, it's an awesome GTD app, getting things done app for iPhone. Costs $20, and it's out right now by the Omni Group. Moving on from productivity is distractions, and that is the Angry Birds Space app. According to @AngryBirds on Twitter, the app has been downloaded over 10 million times in less than 3 days. Can you say incredible? I can. Incredible. That is kind of mind-blowing. Well, perhaps the biggest app story is not Angry Birds, but it's the new Square app. The Square app is now at version 2.0. It has a new name and a new icon. Instead of card case, it is now called Pay with Square. This follows the release of PayPal Here, or whatever they're calling it, and it's really beefing up the competition here with this new service. Now branded Pay with Square. Its release notes state that card cases now pay with Square. The new user interface to make paying with Square faster and simpler. You're able to discover merchants you love in a now easier way than ever by browsing a map of where you're at, or even searching by business name. You can add businesses you love to your favorites list and share with friends so they can add them too. To me, this update is a nice one, and I'm starting to dig this approach of discovering vendors that use Square. There is nothing really here that's too radical, but some nice changes overall. The last app story of the day is the release of Skype for the new iPad. The update optimizes the graphics for the new device. No other changes were mentioned. No word yet on if the video quality will improve with the back-facing camera, but logic would say yes, it would, because it's a better camera. But there is no word on how much resolution you'll be able to pump through your Wi-Fi or LTE connection. So now let's move on to the last story of the day. And closing out the show today is the idiot of the day. So some old bird-slated person that likes to run into walls got by the name of Evelyn Paswall. Kind of ironic, her name has wall in it, it's Passwall, is suing Apple for breaking her nose when walking into a glass door at the Apple Store Manhasset on Long Island. Passwall claims that she didn't realize that she was walking into a wall of glass as she approached the store, and says that she broke her nose as a result of the collision. This 83-year-old must have been running pretty fast to break her nose. You have to have a lot of force to do that. I'm picturing an 83-year-old walking rather slowly and not fast, especially if you have bad sight and you're as blind as a bird. The glass did have huge white marks on it as well to denote that there is, in fact, a piece of glass there. She's asking for $75,000 in medical expenses plus punitive damages for negligence totaling $1 million. $1 million? Give me a break. This is crazy. Anyway, the idiot of the day goes to the bird-sighted Evelyn Paswall. If I offend you here by saying that this person is an idiot and bird-sighted, well, then okay. I have a big problem with people not taking responsibility for what happens to them. When you walk into a wall, it's your fault. I've tripped on stuff, and, well, it's my fault. It's not the rock. It's not the chair's fault that I trip. It's my fault. End of story, and I'm tired of this kind of stuff. So that's what's going on in the Apple world today. If you like this show, and I hope you do, please head over to iTunes and leave a review for the audio version of this podcast. Also, if you're listening to the audio version, head on over to youtube.com/Tim Chaten, where you can find the video version of this show. Also, sign up to the weekend show, iWake Again. This gives you another day of the week where you can actually wake up to iWake. On Saturday, I do a 30, 40, sometimes an hour show discussing Apple and different things with different guests I have on the show. You can sign up today over at iWakePodcast.com/again. This is the show that funds the show you're listening to right now. Join me tomorrow for another edition of iWake. Aloha.